So I thought it would be really good to look at one particular community every week in Washington, D.C., so that individuals that own homes there can see how their community is performing against other communities in Washington, D.C., and as well from a buyer's perspective to understand exactly what you could find all over the city. So our inaugural community is going to be Ledroit Park. Da 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 da. So I chose Ledroit Park because it truly is a community where history, charm, and modern living really blend seamlessly with one another. So I want to take you on a journey through Ledroit Park. It's a gem in the heart of Washington, D.C., where homeowners have just absolutely fallen in love with the community. So let's dive in and let's discover why this community has created such a buzz in Washington. First of all, I think one of the major things to think about is what type of homes can be found there. So all over Washington, we're going to have homes that are historic, right? But if you're looking for a Victorian historic home, then Ledroit Park is a place for you. These are homes that date back to the 19th century. They're row houses, and they boast gorgeous facades, intricate woodwork, and large bay windows that are just streaming in sunlight and inviting you to come in. This really is a bygone era, but there's not just Victorians there in Washington, D.C. It's a neighborhood that has a mix of renovated townhomes and modern condominiums. And these really do cater to contemporary living spaces. So that is the buyer that is coming into DC. And by and large, that's the type of property that you can find there in Ledroit Park. What about the price tag? Many assume that obviously if you have an historic district, then the price tag is going to be, on a higher end side. And you've guessed correctly. But instead of guessing about it, let's actually look and see what really is what you could expect in a price tag in Ledroit Park. So I like to look at our charts because they tell the truth. And the way that I turned it, which I thought would be really good, is to let's look at this market activity. And let's look at, because we have mainly townhomes and condos there, really, that's really all we have. I wanted to look at both perspectives. So the yellow represents the condo community and the green represents the townhome community. So here we are in September, and we have 5 townhomes that actually have sold, or excuse me, are new listings in the month of September. And that is down from 44.4%. Our condos are 3 that are available as new listings. So that just shows us that our inventory is low. Let's look at these closed sales. In the month of September, our closed sales, it was only 1. And in August, it was actually 6. So what does that say to us? That says that we have very low inventory, but we have a need. We have buyers who are actually looking for properties there in Ledroit Park. So for your sellers, keep your ears, open up your ears here, because we have a strong audience of individuals who are actually looking to live in Ledroit Park, but we have very low inventory. And the same thing for our condo community. We only had 2 condos that actually sold in February. But as you can see there in April, we had one again in May, one again in June, one in August. And that really is indicative or it is reflective of the fact that we have very little inventory available. So let's move from market activity to actual pricing trends. And so when we look at our pricing trends, looking here in September, again, we were talking about, well, what, is it cheap, or what's our pricing trend like there in Ledroit Park? So our pricing trend for an average list price is slightly over $1 million for our townhomes, and for our condos, it's almost about $741,000. So let's look at what our average sold price is. Excuse us. Our average sold price is $950,000. So slightly under what our list price is. Our there in August, it was $949,000. So just about the same from August to September. And for our condos, 525,000. Now, for our condos in May, 1.1 million. So what would be more important to look at when you see a jump like that? I mean, of $500,000. Okay, we're going to probably be going from maybe a penthouse style condo or maybe one that has, three or more bedrooms, something like that. There was a huge variance in there. And so we really would, at that point, would have to look at particulars to see, what accounted for that type of extreme variance, and especially when it comes to our condo community. But by and large, what this shows us again is that we just don't have a lot of activity because we don't have a lot of inventory. So if you are a condo owner and you've been wondering whether or not this is a good time, absolutely it is, because we don't have a lot of inventory. And so really, you get to set the pace. You get to set the pace if you are a condo owner there in Ledroit Park. And so that shows us what our pricing trends are like. So let's look at our pricing ratios. So our median sold to list price. I really like to look at this because, and again, I like to look at the average. So what this really is what we listed for versus what we actually sold for. So again, going to the month of September, we were at 97.4%. And we really did see that, right? Because our list price was a little over $1 million and our sold price was at about 950 to 970. So about 97% of our value. So what we listed for, we were at about 97% to what we sold for. There in the month of August, it was a little less, but look at that for our condo. So again, condo owners, it's 100%. Looking again for our condo owners in June, 98. And just want to jump over here to April, 100%. So again, I would love to look very specifically. We'll look and see what were the bedrooms, bathrooms like, because that will also be very telling as to, why April, I think it was April, right? April, as well as we're going to keep in mind August, why we were at 100%. So let's just go ahead and do that because we can. Let's look at the bedrooms. So let's take out all. And looking at 0 to, let's take out the 3 bedrooms because more than likely those are going to be our townhomes. But 2-bedroom. So they're in August and also in April. So it's our 2-bedroom condos that are performing very well. So that's something to keep in mind. For you condo owners, it's going to be that 2-bedroom that is performing extremely, extremely well. And that's just something to keep in mind. I love to look at things like that because that shows you, why your sold to list price was right a spot on at 100%. So people who are looking there in Ledroit Park, it's the heartbeat of Washington, D.C. They're looking for 2-bedroom condos. If you are a condo owner there and you have been thinking about, do I sell now? Do I wait? This might be your time. Now let's go back to let's stay at our pricing ratios, but instead of looking at the 2, the 1, the 0, now let's look at a 3-bedroom. And looking at our 3-bedroom, these are going to be our townhomes. I want to look at 3, 4. These are our townhomes. So by and large, on average, and individuals who's looking at our townhome, our row homes, they're looking for 3 bedrooms. When we get a 4-bedroom, they are performing well. They're at 100%. It's going to be on the higher end of the spectrum as far as the price is concerned, but there is interest, and even in the 5-bedrooms. So that's good to keep in mind. And I like to look at all perspectives for all of my clients. It's good to know exactly what's going on. So let's go back to our market activity, or our type, our home ownership type, townhomes and condos. Now let's look at days on market. Our average days to settle, for our townhome, 62 days. So it's actually 96 days in August. Just depends on, we didn't have a lot of inventory, so it could have been that that particular townhome, row home had some issues that had to be dealt with, and so that's why the days on market were longer. It could have been a higher price point. Various factors that feed into that longer day on market. And then there in July, 201 days on market. So again, let's go back up to, because we can do this just very quickly. Let's look at the pricing trend. The pricing trend, our sold price. There again, our average sold price. That's our list price. Let's look at our average sold price. It was at 949,000. So that could very well have accounted for why the day on market was so long. It could have been that that particular property was listed well above where it was actually going to sell for, and so it wasn't priced properly in the beginning. So they could have very much contributed to that longer day on market. And I like to look at those very specific things because that's not indicative of our market as a whole in DC when we see things like that. So that's the average day to settle. And this is more in line. These are going to be more in line, these average days to settle. Overall in Ledroit Park, our average days to settle, they're a little higher than they are in other parts of the city. But again, I think that speaks to the need for more inventory. It also speaks to the fact that, people are looking, but it could be that because of our lack of inventory, what they're finding is a needle in a haystack. It has to speak to just the right person. But if you have something that has been modernized, like we talked about, and really does speak to that client that is out there looking for property now, your property could be extremely attractive and settle and sell very quickly. I also like to look at our average day on market. And so our average day on market is 37 days, 47 days. So there's the difference between the days to settle and our days on market. So this really does give you a perspective there, our average days on market, and see how it's changing. And I think it's changing. It's very much indicative as well as like here in July, we were at that point where they had not made a decision as to whether or not our interest rates were going to go lower, and our interest rates had actually hiked up one more time. So our average day on market, because also that price point was that much higher, they all feed in together. So we're at $1 million. We're into jumbo financing. Our interest rates were higher. Of course, it's going to take longer for a property like that to move. But when our property and our price points make more sense, or not make more sense, but are a bit lower, then our average days on market are right in line with where the community is. And as you can see, as our interest rates have been coming down, our days on market are coming down. So that's very exciting for you as a seller. And then lastly, let's look at our supply and our demand. And so our supply and demand, 10 months, a little bit higher, 13 months. So that just shows us again, that's more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. But again, this is indicative of a lack of supply. We are not seeing a lot of supply in Ledroit Park, which means that those properties there that are sitting longer, they are creating whatever our averages are. So if we had more supply, it would be interesting to see what would happen with some of these months of supply. And it really does show us that, we need more properties, and it really is a very strong buyer pool if we had more properties available in Ledroit Park. Our demand is there. So we're going to stop our screen share, and let's talk a little bit more about what can an individual expect to find in Ledroit Park. What makes it so appealing? One of the things that makes it so appealing is its proximity to Howard University, to downtown DC. It has an historic appeal, and the demand, again, like I was saying, is very high there. So it's a great sign for individuals who are not only looking to sell, but for individuals who are looking to invest in property. and want to find a place where they know they could easily find a renter, Ledroit Park is one of those places. And what about renovations? Because it is an historic district, you're going to do renovations that also are going to preserve the historic charm of the neighborhood. So it is possible to have the best of both worlds. Ledroit Park definitely is a place where homeowners have been focused on preserving historic elements and facades, original woodwork and fireplaces, while also adding modern amenities that speak to our buyer pool. So when you're thinking about your updates, think about kitchens and smart home technology, energy efficient windows and central air conditioning. All of those things are the things that our buyers are looking for, but also they want that preservation of the historic feel and the charm. And that's where we really do get a blend of old and new. So, we've been seeing for the longest time exposed brick walls. Many times they're painted white, reclaimed hardwood floors, modern fixtures. And so, again, it's that perfect balance between old and new. So, one of the other things that people wonder about is what is a lifestyle like in Ledroit Park? It's not just beautiful homes, but it's also a vibrant community that has a very welcoming feel and a very tight-knit community. It's a strong sense of neighborhood connection because it's one of our smaller communities in Washington, D.C., and it's very charming. It's nothing to see individuals sitting out on their porches, chatting, walking through the parks. One of the major parks in Ledroit Park is Anna J. Cooper Circle. It's a beautiful green space, and it's a place where, you'll see individuals actually communing. So what's some of the trends in Ledroit Park? Are there any exciting developments that are happening? What's the buzz? Ledroit Park is benefiting from several new infrastructure projects that are happening in and around the city. So one of them is McMillan Sand Filtration Site Development. It's bringing in new parks, retail spaces, and it's increasing Ledroit Park's desirability. Plus, there's also the North Capitol Street renovation that's happening and redevelopment, which is also improving the traffic flow and also the walkability. So all of those things are things that are really drawing in our buyer pool, and it's trending Ledroit Park's values on the upward spiral. So are there any new exciting festivals that are coming up? Absolutely. Ledroit Park loves to host many community events. One of the major ones is the Ledroit Park Music Festival. It's coming up soon. It's going to be filled with live performances, local vendors, great food. And so Ledroit Park also has one of the stronger civic associations in Washington, D.C., where regularly individuals come together. They discuss community issues and improvements. And it really is a great way for them to stay in touch and stay involved. And so if you are looking for a close-knit community in Washington, D.C., you are looking to be a part of something, Ledroit Park is a place that does definitely speak to you. And it's something that you as a seller, you would want to highlight when you're looking to sell your property, how it has benefited you as a property owner, how it's benefited your property itself, and how it's benefited your opportunity to live there and thrive in Washington, D.C. as a resident. So one of the last things I want to talk about is its convenience. Ledroit Park is incredibly well connected. It's located right next to the Shaw Howard Metro station. It's convenient for commuting and exploring Washington, D.C. Obviously, there's buses and a myriad of bus routes that pass through, bicycle-friendly streets, eco-friendly alternative for getting around. And then just its proximity and to downtown DC. It's basically in the middle of everywhere. So it's just one of those places that has all of the charm that individuals are looking for. And one of the things that I love to really promote when individuals are looking at moving into Washington, D.C. is what does a particular community have to offer as far as a community feel is concerned? Well, Ledroit Park has a little bit of everything when you're thinking about dining out, when you're thinking about a place, that has charm, that is a place for you to unwind and get to know the locals. There's a local favorite called the Royale. It's a laid-back cafe. There's also El Camino, where you can enjoy delicious Mexican food just a few blocks away. Of course, the U Street corridor is right there. An endless array of, restaurants, live music venues, and so forth. So many hidden gems, and Ledroit Park is one of the best kept secrets in DC. It's small, it's charming, and it's just a place where people have loved to live for years and years. It's a perfect place for individuals to shop and to dine. And I think one of the best kept secrets and one of my favorite places is Ledroit Park Market. It's charming. It's been there for over a century. It's a perfect place to grab a cup of coffee and a quick snack. So, those are just some of, I think, the highlights of being in and near Ledroit Park. One of the last ones I want to really feature is the Howard Theater, credible for live performances and events. And it really has added to the value of Ledroit Park and to the surrounding area. So that's it. That kind of overall gives you Ledroit Park. It's allowed us to walk through it as I told you that we would. It just shows that all the way around, Ledroit Park is a smart investment. There's been steady appreciation over the past few years. There's a myriad of ongoing developments. It's a prime location, and truly it continues to evolve in its historicity and its charm. So if you're ready to become part of a vibrant historic community, modern comforts and strong investment potential, then Ledroit Park is a place for you. If you're looking for charm, if you're looking for a thriving community and a sense of belong, Ledroit Park is for you. If you want to know more about how your particular property is performing against some of these matrix that I showed, reach out, let me know. As always, I always like to talk about the fact that I offer that free service where all you have to do is input your information, click on that link below, input your information, put in just your address, and it will give you back what your property value is, how it's performing next to all the other properties there in Ledroit Park, and then it will update you on a monthly consistent basis. And when you're ready to reach out, you'll already have a beat on the market, and then we just go deeper into what you've done to the property, where your proximity is to different places, and how and what you really can expect to get for your property when you're ready to list and sell it. But until then, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening and being a part of my audience and the journey. Always reach out to learn more. And until we see each other again in the next video, make it a phenomenal day. All right. I just need a moment. That was big.